There are moments in life when everything changes in an instant. A single conversation, a fleeting encounter, a whispered secret, these can alter the course of destiny forever. Tonight, we unravel a mystery so profound, so powerful, that it has been deliberately kept from the world. A stranger, unknown to many but guided by forces beyond our comprehension, has shared a secret about Archangel Michael that changes everything. But why now? Why has this knowledge remained hidden for so long? And most importantly, why you? Let me take you to a quiet, dimly lit cafe in the heart of New York City. A man, let's call him Daniel, sat in the corner, his hands trembling as he clutched a worn-out notebook. His eyes darted around the room, scanning for any sign of them, the ones who didn't want this message to be known. His voice was barely above a whisper when he said, "What I'm about to tell you, it's something the world isn't ready for. But if I don't share it now, it may be lost forever." Daniel had spent years studying ancient texts, deciphering hidden messages encrypted within centuries-old manuscripts. But what shook him to his core was not just the knowledge. It was the warning embedded in them, a warning that pointed to something imminent. It all started with a passage that had been deliberately mistranslated in modern texts. The true meaning had been buried beneath layers of deception, altered to mislead those who sought the truth. But Daniel, through what he called a divine intervention, uncovered the real message. It spoke of a coming shift, a moment in time when the balance between good and evil would be tested, and those who failed to recognize the signs would be left in darkness. But here's where it gets even more chilling. Daniel wasn't the only one who had discovered this message. Others before him had, too, and each one of them disappeared. Some were declared missing. Others were found, but their memories erased. It was as if someone, or something, didn't want the truth to be known. "I don't have much time," he admitted, his voice shaky. "I know they're watching. But you can still spread the truth." And then, he leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Look for the signs. They're already appearing. The alignment, the numbers, the visions people are having. It's all connected. Archangel Michael is trying to warn us, but most people, they refuse to listen." Before he could say another word, a shadow moved outside the cafe window. A dark figure, standing perfectly still, watching. And then, Daniel was gone. But the message remains. The warning is real. And now, you are part of this revelation. Will you ignore it, like so many before? Or will you pay attention, before it's too late? The next morning, Daniel's notebook was found on the cafe table, untouched. The pages were filled with symbols, numbers, and fragments of ancient scriptures, some in languages that no one had seen for centuries. Among the writings, one phrase stood out, repeated multiple times: "He is near. The veil is thinning." A journalist named Sarah, who had been following strange disappearances linked to hidden religious texts, got a tip about Daniel's case. She had heard whispers of people uncovering messages from Archangel Michael, warnings of events yet to unfold. But every time someone got too close to the truth, they vanished. Sarah took the notebook, carefully flipping through the pages. At first, it looked like random scribbles, but then she noticed something eerie. Certain letters were underlined in red. When she pieced them together, they formed a sentence: "Watch for the 3 signs." Her heart pounded. She had seen this phrase before, deep in an old Vatican archive that she was never supposed to access. According to the hidden text, Archangel Michael's message would appear in 3 forms: visions, numbers, and an event no one could ignore. As she sat in her apartment that night, going through the notebook again, She suddenly felt an overwhelming presence in the room. The air grew heavy, as if unseen eyes were watching. Then, her phone screen flickered, and a strange number appeared, 1117. A chill ran down her spine. It was the same number that had been scrawled across the last page of Daniel's notebook. The same number that had appeared in ancient prophecies about divine intervention. Without thinking, she started searching online, cross-referencing historical records, religious texts, and secret archives. The deeper she dug, the clearer it became. This number had shown up during major world-changing events. Sarah's mind raced. Could this be the first of the 3 signs? Was she now part of something much bigger than she had ever imagined? And if so, what was coming next? Sarah's fingers trembled as she scrolled through page after page of records, her mind weaving connections she wasn't sure she was ready to accept. Every major shift in history, every unexplained event, had whispers of this number, 1117, buried in the background. It was there before natural disasters, before political upheavals, before inexplicable celestial events, and now it had appeared before her. Her pulse quickened as she reached for her phone. She needed to call someone, anyone, but as she unlocked the screen, it glitched violently, the numbers flashing erratically before settling on one single message: "Look outside." Her breath caught in her throat. The room was deathly silent, save for the faint hum of electricity in the walls. Slowly, she turned toward her window, pulling back the curtain just enough to peer through. What she saw made her stomach drop. A lone figure stood at the edge of the street, unmoving, cloaked in a long, tattered robe. It was too dark to see their face, but something about their stance sent a shiver down her spine. Then, as if sensing her gaze, the figure lifted a hand and pointed directly at her window. Sarah gasped, stumbling backward. She had spent years chasing secrets, uncovering truths hidden beneath centuries of deception, but this felt different. This wasn't just a discovery, it was a warning. Her phone vibrated in her hand. A new message. No sender, no contact, just 2 words. "He's here." A cold sweat broke out on her skin. Who was here? The stranger outside, or something far beyond human comprehension? The floor creaked. Her breath hitched. She wasn't alone. Sarah's heartbeat thundered in her chest. Every hair on her body stood on end as she strained to listen. The air in the room felt heavier, pressing down on her as if an unseen force was closing in. The floor creaked again, closer this time. She forced herself to turn, her eyes scanning the dimly lit room. The shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally, shifting as though something was lurking just beyond her vision. The air turned icy, her breath coming out in shallow, visible puffs. Then, the whisper came, soft, distant, yet unmistakably real. "You were chosen." Sarah's stomach clenched. The voice was neither male nor female, neither young nor old. It resonated deep within her, like an echo rippling through time itself. She clutched her phone, her fingers hovering over the call button. But who would she call? The police? A friend? Would they even believe her? The whisper came again, this time from behind her. "You have little time." She spun around, but there was nothing there. Only the stillness of her apartment and the hum of her refrigerator in the distance. But something was wrong. The air was charged with an unexplainable energy, crackling like static before a storm. Sarah's eyes flickered back to the window. The figure outside had moved. No longer standing at the edge of the street, it was now directly beneath her window, closer, waiting. Her phone vibrated violently in her hand. Another message. "Open the door." Her blood ran cold. She hadn't heard a knock, hadn't heard footsteps, but the presence in the room, the figure outside, the whisper, it was all converging into something inevitable. And for the first time in her life, she realized she wasn't in control anymore. Sarah's breath hitched as her body refused to move. Her fingers trembled over the screen of her phone, the message glowing like a sinister warning in the dim light. Open the door. A heavy silence stretched across the room, pressing into her ears, amplifying the wild rhythm of her own heartbeat. She felt like a cornered animal, trapped between the unseen presence behind her and the looming figure outside. Her instincts screamed no, but something deeper, something primal and unexplainable, stirred within her, a strange pull, an unseen force, urging her forward. It wasn't just fear anymore. It was something else entirely.
Her feet moved before she could stop them. Step by step, she approached the door. The wooden floor beneath her creaked, the only sound breaking the oppressive quiet. She could hear her own breathing, shallow and erratic. The handle was just inches away now, its brass surface cold and smooth. A shadow passed underneath the door. Someone, or something, was standing right there, waiting.
Then, a sound. Not a knock. Not a voice. Something else. A deep, low hum, vibrating through the door, rattling through her bones. It wasn't human. It wasn't mechanical. It was something ancient, something alive. Her fingers twitched over the handle. Something was happening. Something she couldn't see, but she could feel it. The very air had changed, the molecules charged with an energy beyond comprehension. And in that moment, she knew, if she opened the door, nothing would ever be the same again. Sarah's hand hovered over the door handle, her heart pounding like a war drum. Something inside her whispered, "This is a moment of destiny." And then, a voice. Not from the door, not from her phone, from within her own soul. "You were meant to hear this. You were chosen to witness this moment. But now, you must decide. Will you step forward or turn away?" A chill ran down her spine. Was this a test? A warning? Or a call to something greater? And now, yes, you watching this right now, this isn't just Sarah's story. This is your moment. You weren't led here by accident. Something far beyond this world has brought you to this video.
So what will you do now? If you've felt that chill, if your heart has raced even for a second, you know this message is for you. Don't let it slip away. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and comment below if you've ever felt an unexplainable presence in your life. And most importantly, subscribe now and turn on the bell icon, because the next message from Archangel Michael might be the one that changes everything.